Hi there, I'm Mark from Dark Forest Bushcraft and welcome to another video. We'll be discussing how to make charred material from natural materials. Stay tuned. Here we have some rotted wood, also known as punky wood. The reason why it's called punky wood is because it's spongy, breaks off really easy, it's very squishy. So we can see that bouncing back on the camera, if we can get it to focus. As you can see, it's very spongy and it's called punky wood. So what we're going to do is going to get some out of this and then use that for char material. Okay, so this is the punked wood that we collected. I decided to, as soon as I ripped off a bigger piece, I thought, well, this is easy to transport, so that's why it's not in little pieces, but I can break it into little pieces here. So it's soft and spongy wood, this punky wood here. It's very soft and spongy, and it just breaks off just by touching it. Now this is very good at charring. Now the reason why I point this out is because when you make your fire either by bowdrill or any other means, it's good to think about your next fire. So this is why we're charring natural material. You can also char cattail, anything soft. If you char it, it'll ignite with a spark. This is my char tin. I keep it together with a bicycle inner tube that I've just cut into. I've just cut a strip off. That is nice and handy to keep it all shut. And in my tin, tinder box, I've got cordage, natural cordage. It's twine. It's just in case I don't have a tinder bundle ready, I can just split this up into a nice fine mass which I can use as a tinder bundle. I have a piece of flint, a steel, and some form of char. In this case it's char cloth, which is why we're going to now char that. But before we move on, this is an Altoid. This is just a regular Altoids tin. I got it from Tesco's for only a couple of quid. Really inexpensive. Actually, I think it was less than £2. And it holds all this equipment in. And basically, all you need to do is, when you get a bit of flint, make sure it's a sharp edge. Strike down on it, you get a massive sparks. Alright, so all we're doing is just breaking bits off and putting it inside the char tin. It's going everywhere. You want the softer parts, even if it's crumbly, because that's going to be the best stuff to use. And just fill the char tin and just close it. Now there are air holes here, which is why I haven't punched a hole here, because there's air holes here, and all we need to do is dig a hole by the side here. When the smoke has finished pouring out of the holes, you'll find it will also ignite out the holes as well. But once the smoke has finished pouring out the holes, we then bury it to exclude the oxygen, so it doesn't smoulder inside the tin. That way we get good char and not burnt material that we just can't use. When the fire's burned down to a sufficient bed of embers, we can then transfer our char tin to the fire. What we want to do now is then watch as this then heats up and wait till that finishes smoking. As you can see, smoke's coming out of it already, and you might see it catch fire every so often. That is the gases escaping out of the tin. So all we've got to do now is just watch that tin and wait for the flames around here and the smoke to die down, and then we'll transfer it into the hole in the ground that we dug and just bury it over to exclude the oxygen. Okay, so when you've left it a bit, unbury it obviously. If it's cold to touch, then you're good. Okay, so you get your steel out in your left hand. Make sure you drive off. Make sure you find a sharp edge first. There we go. Then all you need to do is then just strike downwards. Straight away we have a nice glowing ember. And the good thing about this is that this ember is nice and solid and it'll burn a lot hotter to affect your fire a bit better. So it'll just make things easier for yourself. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be flint. If you can get yourself a fire steel, just pick up any rock you see and give it a strike. If you nap a sharp edge on it, give it a strike. If you throw off sparks, you know that rock's good. Quartz is a good one, and so is obsidian. I'm yet to find any more locally around here to actually affect a spark, but it doesn't necessarily have to be flint, although flint is better to use. Thanks for joining me on this video, and I hope you've learned how to char natural materials. It doesn't necessarily have to be punk wood, it could be cattail, it could even be softwood. You could even use the leftover charcoal, as long as it's softwood, out of your fire and knock a spark on it, and you can blow it back into flame. There's many ways to do it. There are a lot of videos out there, so yeah, I just hope you learned something. I'll be out with another video as soon as I can. Thank you.